Hello, everyone. In this video, I'm going to be talking about an example, or I guess just sharing an example of how to design and evaluate a career development program. Uh, I think this is a really, really important topic. It gives the vision, it gives the direction, it gives the focus of a program. And sometimes we can just kind of implicitly have our direction. That's just, we haven't really thought it out, but it's just kind of unfolding, however. But having an explicit, thoroughly and intentionally thought out plan and kind of pathway for what we're hoping is really, really important. So I'll share an example of that. So previously, in many of my videos, I've talked about how I worked at the University of Wyoming as the manager of career counseling. So I'm going to be pulling on that experience. And once again, this is to say that this is like a perfect example. It's just an example, and I think it seemed to work okay. But there were also things that could have been tweaked and changed, throughout time. I worked at the University of Wyoming as a manager of career counseling, and we made kind of basically I'm going to be talking about a mission statement and learning objectives, marketing plan, evaluation, how we went through those different steps. And I was there for about a year. So we developed all these documents and kind of started all these plans and had a year of implementation. And then I actually left. So I think it would have been really interesting to see how it played out in more than just 1 year time frame. But that's kind of the context of where this is coming from. All right, so really quick, I'm going to share my screen. So when I was at the University of Wyoming, we developed this, we being myself and as well as all the other career counselors. So we got together and we developed this mission statement. Uh, so it's nothing fancy, but it gave some at least clarity of like, okay, the conversation that needed to occur between us as a career counseling team was, what are our beliefs about our role? What are we providing for campus? What advantage are we bringing to students? Like what source of help are we bringing to them? So I think first, it really like the mission statement process really helped us internally clarify our mission so that we're all kind of working from a united vision. So as you see here, so career counselors support the mission and strategic plan of the University of Wyoming by helping students from all backgrounds work in these four areas. So number one, identify academic, career, and life goals. I think that's pretty basic for a lot of career counselors, but we just wanted to clarify once again to ourselves as well as the students that, yeah, we're going to help you work on your academics, your career, but I think the life coach is also important, that we wanted them to understand that this is also a larger process. That career isn't just about getting a job. It's about how does it situate into your life. Then number two, develop greater self and social awareness. So our beliefs are that that you really need to better understand yourself. You need to look inward as well as look out socially of like what impact can I have, what's going on around me, so that I can understand how to implement a career path in a meaningful way, or what barriers are there. I think that leads to number three, collaboratively overcome barriers. Those could be mental health, it could be personal challenges, they could be social, it could be family expectations, it could be, if I guess there could be a lot of different things. So we just wanted to open up the door that, like, yeah, in this career and life decision-making process, we're going to have barriers. It could be hard struggles that we need to make sense from, and we can help you do that. And the last one is implement academic, career, and life goals. So the first one and the fourth ones are basically the same except for one word. So identifying is the first, and fourth is implement. So we wanted there to be this action orientation. So it's not just that we're thinking about things and talking about it and overcoming some barriers, but then not acting. So the goal is that, yes, we want to help you act. And that could be getting volunteer experience. It could be changing your major. It could be, once again, it could be, I guess, getting an internship in volunteer work or job shadowing, a lot of different options, occupational interviews, just something to start moving forward. So that then led to our learning objectives. So our learning objectives are all related to the mission statement, but they kind of get a bit more specific in how we view, how do we actually go about implementing the mission statement? What will students learn or experience? And I guess we use the word learn consistently here for each one. So this first learning objective is connected to identify academic, career, and life goals, but we get a bit more specific. So students will learn how to develop academic, career, and life goals as they clarify their values, personality, interests, skills, and their abilities. So we wanted to specifically emphasize those 5 areas of self-understanding that are relevant for academic career and life goals. At this point, I would probably broaden. I don't think that those 5 values, personality, interests, skills, and abilities is sufficient. I think those are all necessary, but there's likely more in the career development process. So I'd likely expand that. Number 2, students will learn self-reflection skills needed to better understand themselves and others. So there's this, once again, this learning outcome of how can I increase my self-understanding, my self-awareness, as well as my social awareness, my emotional intelligence for myself as well as others. And the 3rd here, students will learn how to persevere and be resilient. And that's where we're helping them overcome their barriers, and utilizing the counseling relationship to help them work through their challenges so that they can feel more able to persevere and be resilient. And then obviously we're kind of speaking the language of higher ed there to then lead to higher 4 and 6-year graduation rates. So that was really important for the strategic plan for the University of Wyoming. So it was important to us to demonstrate, okay, our service isn't just disconnected from the university. It's our learning objectives and mission resonate back to the overarching organization that we're part of. So we could basically demonstrate if an administrator said, hey, should we keep giving you funding? Like, why are you a meaningful and an important resource for campus? We could say, hey, we have our learning objectives are helping the university meet the strategic plan and meet the goals of the entire university. Then we'll go on and talk about later that then we have assessment to actually show that we actually are successful at that. So then we could also present that to administrators, but I'll get to that. Here we go. So students will learn how to act on life, academic, and career goals by being active in the UW and local community. So that's related to implement academic, career, and life goals. But we wanted to kind of specify using the word act, but also by being active in the UW. So we really wanted to emphasize that they're going to be acting in the community and helping the community, which is also going to be helpful to their career development. So the University of Wyoming was very community oriented and state, kind of supporting the state, since it's the only university in the state. And then students learn how to interdependently make academic career life decisions. So we kind of want to emphasize that interdependence, that they're not alone, that we'll be there to support them, but they'll also learn how to develop relationships with community members, with faculty, if they volunteer, they can build their network. So kind of we're speaking of that independence side. All right, I'll pause there with the screen sharing. And so that process was really important. So we had a unified vision, but then what? So I think a lot of times this is where groups or counseling groups or just organizations in general, where they go wrong is they develop this mission statement, learning objectives, and maybe they're meaningful to them, but then they post it online. They're like, good, we did it. Now let's just go back to doing what we used to do. But no, we tried to really make this document actually meaningful and relevant and guiding for the work that we did. So then we developed a marketing plan, an annual marketing plan that's based on these learning objectives. So we had weekly marketing goals, monthly, bi-monthly, every semester, what we would do, then annual plans of how would we go about helping campus partners and community partners understand what we do and help students understand what we do so they'll understand when to come and utilize services, how we can be helpful to them. So yeah, the biggest part of that was we tried to publish this to students and reach out directly to students, but that actually wasn't very successful. So the biggest part of our marketing plan was how can we build relationships with our campus partners? So for example, athletics ended up being a really great partnership that I worked with the administrators in athletics to talk about, okay, here's our newly developed mission and learning objectives of what we're hoping to do for students. Can this be helpful? How can we partner in helping students to meet these goals? And they're like, these are great. These are many of these things are exactly what we're trying to help our students do. So then they would start to fund students our direction. We also, one of the ideas from the administrators was that, how about we have a career counselor come and provide career counseling in the athletics facilities? So they can come to like our student services area, that's just for student athletes, and you can provide career counseling there and then follow up in your office. And that was actually really helpful. So I'd go once a week to the athletics facilities and provide career counseling there and follow up appointments back in my office. Uh, so we did lots of other partnerships too, but that's just one example. So the marketing plan was really helpful. And this the mission statement also helped us develop a new website. Uh, just really quick, I'm going to share my screen one more time. So here's the mission statement, or excuse me, the website for career counseling at the University of Wyoming. So you can see, it's interesting that it's basically still the same from when I developed this information with my colleagues there at the time. But you can see that the mission statement is built into the website. So identify life and career direction, develop self and self-understanding, overcome your barriers, etc. So if you clicked on identify life and career direction, it'll go into values, interests and energy, personality, abilities. Click on it and learn a bit more. So this is just trying to get students educated on kind of our approach, as well as what the career development process can look like. But then we would connect them to assessments. We connect them to coming and meeting with us if they would like to talk more in depth about these areas. So yeah, having that overarching design of what we're hoping to do through a mission statement and learning objectives can also help you in web development as well. And we also did like a video to market our services that was connected back once again with the key concepts from our mission statement and learning objectives. So I hope that makes it pretty clear that having a vision, having a mission, having a learning objective, that it can be infused in all the work that we do. And then when students came in, we had a clear process of like, here's how we view the process. We're going to help you develop self and insight. And then we all had our own style of how they went about it as individual career counselors, but it gave us some continuity, helping students know what to expect. So the last thing I want to talk about is the evaluation. So we would regularly evaluate. So this would be informal as well as formal. So we'd kind of check in with students of like, how is this going? And are we helping you meet your academic career goals, et cetera? So sometimes that would just occur at the end of sessions. But then each semester, we'd also have a feedback survey. So we created basically like a survey to ask questions that were directly connected to our learning objectives. So are we actually doing what we're hoping was the key goal from sending that feedback? So we send it to our career counseling students that we're working with after the sessions, about midway through the semester. And we were able to get feedback and we were able to get data of like, okay, in this area we're doing really well. In this area, we're low. We're not really helping them overcome their barriers very well. So then it led to conversations in our meetings. That's just one example. I can't remember what the specifics were, but we would be able to use that data and think about, okay, where are we struggling? How can we bolster this area? Or do we need to change our learning objectives that are not really necessary for the students? So the evaluation process led to like this cyclical review of, okay, once again, are we successfully achieving our mission, or do we need to adjust it to better meet the needs of students? So getting the student voice in the evaluation process is really, really important to make adaptations, as well as to know if we're actually achieving what we're saying that we want to achieve. So this led to a huge increase in services. That the year before we did all the mission statement and learning objectives, we had, I believe it was 384 student contacts that were specifically career counseling oriented. Then we had over 1,100 after implementing this plan, and we had the same number of staff. We really just capitalized on group. We did like a lot of classroom presentations to get out this information. So the group support, the group classroom presentations and group experiences really increased how we can get more students aware and engaging in this process. So anyways, if you have questions about this, don't hesitate to reach out. I think this is something that's super important, that's super necessary, and applies to all counseling experiences, not just career counseling. So this could be a clinical mental health, school counseling application of going through this process, but I did specifically want to orient to the career development process. So any questions or anything, let me know.